pike as far as the ARPA funds and where they're going to be established and what they're going to be actually used for. There's probably going to be some additions and some
No,
other things that we can be used.
there are going to be no changes to the requirements for the funds. This is a federal grant that is not going to change. They're not going to expand what we can use this on.
Christie, with all due respect, I never have known the government saying they're not going to change anything.
With grant funds, every single time. I've never seen a grant change.
Well, the government can change what they want to change anytime they want to.
Well, and I would add, we've not taken this specific project and ran it by anyone to say, can this be an allowable cost with the right wording?
Yeah, I have. I have talked to the attorney about what we can spend our ARPA funds on.
We haven't
Yes.
seen any of that.
Well, I didn't have it put in writing, but I can if you would like me to. It is more costly for us to have that put in writing.
Okay, Ken, did you have a question or a comment?
Well, I do think we have difference of opinion here. I've worked with Christie on this and I've gone through that list that she has. And I also agree with her. These are the only things that we could actually spend the money on. I don't think we can add a building to that, but you know, there's enough discussion here that why don't we just get a motion and find out what we're going to do? Maybe we have 3 people, maybe we're deadlocked. I don't know, but I know one thing is we're going to have to, at some point in time, invest in the communication in the township with internet broadband. Whether we do it now or later, it's got to be done. We're in the Stone Age for most of the residents here. Not some of us are a luxury to have a pretty good internet, but most of us are out in the boonies and they're not going to go out for one person unless government funds it. And that's probably why we're getting federal grants through Bloomingdale Telecommunications, but now they're short on money. So
you want a motion?
I want a motion.
I would move that we contact Bloomingdale Telephone Company and advise them that we are committed to allocating money and funds to them, the exact amount unknown at this time. And that as soon as we have confirmation of what this is going to be used for through the government and their allocations, that we will let them know.
Christie, did you get the motion?
No, that was really long.
Well, maybe I could redo the motion stating that we'll contact Bloomingdale Telephone Company and advise them that we are committed to give them funding, the amount unknown at this time.
I'll support.
Who supported it?
I did, Beverly.
Severs supported it. Gary made the motion.
Correct.
Christie, you got the motion written down?
Yeah,
Okay. Roll call vote. Christie,
no,
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Ken Snow. Okay. That solves that. H2 is current auction results and approval. Christie, can you put up the sale evaluation list of the winning bidders, high, low? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 parcels get sold. 13 of them only had one bid and went the highest bidder. The last one on your list had 2 bidders on it, and It went to the high bidder at 1,200. First bidder went for 1,000. Our next step now is for the township board to approve selling these parcels to the high bidders. Is there any discussions on selling the parcels to the high bidder?
Has any of these parcels been assessed by the assessor to see if in fact we're in line, or if we're a little below, or if we're high on some of them?
A while back, we made a thing with the township board on how we would assess these parcels. Those that were over 1,200 square feet would be assessed in this manner. Those less than 12,000 feet would be assessed in another manner. And basically it came out to $400 a parcel. This would be our asking point. So if you had two parcels on a double lot, then it'd be 800. And if you have 4 lots and it got over the 12, then there's a percentage of the area. I can't remember what the percentage was, but that's why you have like the $2,000 bid, because those 3 parcels generated into the 1,200 square feet and larger. Remember that? Where we
Right,
talked about that?
Yeah, I do remember that. I just wanted to make sure that was followed, that's all.
We used the assessor to tell us her estimate of the parcels to get the lots in different areas to get a set point.
Can
So that's
my,
how we got where we were.
my only question is on the bid evaluation for land sales, that the document that you have up there. The last 2 parcels, number 27, you've got low bidder next to that.
There's 3 lots there. You had 2 bidders on it. One bidder is number 27.
Oh,
and the
okay,
second bidder is
okay.
32.
Okay, gotcha. All right, now I understand. Thank you.
And I crossed out the $1,000 because it was a low bidder, and I had the 1,200
Yes.
showing a high bidder.
Okay,
Any other discussion? Can I get a motion to approve the sales of the properties as presented to all high bidders?
I'll make a motion to approve the sale of the properties to all high bidders.
Rhonda?
I'll
Or
second
Beverly?
it.
I know who seconded it. Who approved it?
Beverly
Beverly.
made the motion.
Beverly made the motion.
Yep.
Roll call vote. Christie? Christie?
Yes,
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes,
Beverly?
Yes.
Ken, yes. There were a few parcels which had no bids cast on them. And what we talked about in the last time, that if we didn't get any bids, we would try at the higher bid, and then we'd drop them to $250 per parcel, provided the parcels in the subdivision small lots. So the board should consider dropping that price to $250 per parcel. In addition, we have a parcel on 51st and a half Street, which is a strip of land about 80 feet wide and about 1,000 feet in depth, which has been reviewed by the assessor for setting the true cash value of the land, and we have reduced that about 80% for the land sale price. There are also 2 more parcels which have not been evaluated by the assessor for a value. They're both on 2nd Avenue side by side. Both are about 100 feet by 200 feet. These can be added to the list if the board will approve a price about 80%, no less than 80% of the assessor's true cash value as the posting minimum bid. That would result in a motion, something similar to a motion to repost unbidded properties at a minimum of 250 per parcel, and post parcels, and then it lists the 3 parcels with a minimum bid not less than 80% of the assessor's true cash value, and a sale end date of some date ending at 8 o'clock.
Ken, Ken, who owns these, this properties now?
Those properties I just talked about?
Are those township
Columbia
properties?
Township, yeah.
Okay, on this last one that I'm looking at here, the 00300, is that a residence there, or is what am I looking at?
That is garbage. That is junk. That's blight.
Okay, so there's nobody living in this premises.
No, there's if you're looking at that picture to the right of it is a house, and it looks like they're using that as a junkyard.
Okay, so am I understanding you correctly that people are living there?
No, I'm saying that the neighbor to that property on the right is putting stuff on that lot.
Okay.
Oh,
That's my guess.
mm-hmm.
Let's just guess. Where's that at?
2nd Avenue, about I would say somewhere around the 5,000 block. Tied up with lining up with 50th Street. There is no 50th Street there, but if there was, it'd be about there.
That's on the south end of, or the south side of 2nd Ave?
On the south side of 2nd Ave. Nice clean lot, other than the stuff that's on it. If someone bought both the lots, they'd have a nice parcel of land. Be about 4 acres.
Okay, so you need a motion if there's no other discussion?
If there's no other discussion, here's what I wrote down for the motion is to repost the unbidded properties at a minimum of $250 per parcel. And to post parcel, I have 8006, 03, 012, 20, comma, 8006, 140, 02-10, and 8006, 140, 300-00 with a minimum bid not less than 80% of the assessor's true cash value and a sale date ending of, and I need that ending date.
September 15th.
September 15th at 8 p.m. And that would be the motion. If someone wants to make that motion. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that motion. I'll move for that motion to be read as you indicated.
Do I have a second?
I'll support. That's Beverly.
Roll call vote. Christie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Ken, yes. Next thing on our agenda is the cleanup of Fire Lane 3 property. Little background, the township was in court last month related to eviction to remove a person or persons from a piece of property owned by the township. The court ordered the removal of the persons from the property by August 20th. The Van Buren County Sheriff Work Group is scheduled to work for the township on August 31st for 1 day to help the township with work to be done. If the person is off the site by the 20th or shortly evicted after the 20th, the township could have the sheriff work crew clean up the property if the dumpsters can be obtained if necessary. The supervisor would like to have the ability to get one or more dumpsters on that property if the property is available to be declared clean prior to the 31st of August. It is going to be a blight cleanup and maybe a number of recreational trailers removed from the property. Any discussion?
Ken, will this property, does the township own this property now?
The township has owned this property since I think June 20th.
And what
Okay.
does what does the court order stipulate?
For court order, we had to give a 30-day notice for the eviction. Once the 30-day, then we had to wait for a court hearing Then we had a court hearing, and then the court order was that he had to August 2nd to appeal his decision that day. And he had to August 20th to be off the property if he didn't appeal. It doesn't appear that he appealed. I haven't heard anything about appeal.
So
Okay,
I know you need dumpsters, a dumpster or two. I don't know how bad it is over there, but so what could be done with the vehicles? They would be towed away to where?
Well, nothing less. I'd probably, the sheriff is number one. If I have to have vehicles removed, the sheriff's going to have to be about to get them off the property. And I think they just call a salvage company to come get them. Then they're held for so many days before they can do anything with them.
Okay,
If we are given permission to remove them, we'd probably take them down to the transfer station. And we would get somebody to come in there and disassemble them for the metal and that, and then get rid of the rest of it.
strip them down. Okay.
well, if there's
I
no
don't-
titles for these particular vehicles, you could have the sheriff's office go in and do a lost title application if they're any good, and then you could probably sell them rather than scrap. You'd get better out of the sale than scrapping them. That's just a
For my,
thought.
from my observation, I'm not sure they're salvageable. I might be wrong, but my observation not looking good.
So what do you need a
Hopefully-
motion to say, Ken?
I need a motion to approve getting a parcel of land on Fire Lane 3 owned by the township, cleaned up of blight, and obtain dumpsters for the removal of debris from the site. And since I don't know any cost and how much I'm going to need, I just need to have approval to do that, and then I'll try to do that. I'll probably take my tractor over there, use that to load everything, and try to get it out as quickly. I would imagine that if I get 2 dumpsters, I think they're about $400 for one of those 20-yard dumpsters.
Wow,
probably
is there that much trash there? Are you talking?
Oh, yeah.
20 dumpsters?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot.
I'm on the light side. I'm hoping he takes the trailers and all the other stuff, but it's going to be huge.
Oh, my gosh.
But we're probably looking somewhere around $1,000 to $1,200 for the day that I have the sheriff there. I mean, we're not going to be able to clean it all if it's really more than that.
Well, when I looked at it the other day, Ken, you're probably going to need a 40-yarder and a 20-yarder.
Yeah. So now I'm probably up to $1,600.
Can we just approve cleanup with the cost not to exceed 2,000?
I think what we might want to do is wait and see, maybe survey a little bit, see exactly what we're needing and have a ballpark figure before we,
Well, the problem is if we want to use the road or the jail crew, we need to make a decision now on if we're going to spend any.
They're going to be here on the 31st, and what I'm asking for is if I could use them, and we probably could get a lot done with them in a short period of time. Other than that, I'm going to have to wait till I think my next one is almost in October sometime.
yeah, and there's no cost for the jail crew.
Correct, but there's a cost for the dumpsters for the jail crew to put the stuff in the dumpsters.
Yeah, we're just talking cost of the dumpster. There'd be no other costs, not for my tractor, no labor. It's just dumper cost, just to get get rid of it. And I actually, since it's blight, we got free dump tickets. It should just fall under the transfer station cleanup.
What's the cost for the dumpsters at the transfer station?
Well, that's where I was getting the $400 for those size dumpsters.
And those are those 20 yards?
No, yeah, I think that's a 20-yard dumpster.
Just to be clear, we already have these funds budgeted for this type of project. This is just a formal approval because it's an over, a higher dollar amount before he spends the money.
Well, I guess based on our discussion thus far, I would move that we approve 2 20-yard dumpsters at a cost of approximately $800 for the cleanup of Fire Lane 3.
We need a not to exceed number, probably, not a approximate number.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Gary, I'm considering that you said that he's probably going to need larger than the 20 yard. Would you consider making your motion higher? Not to exceed a higher, not to exceed amount?
Okay, rescind the last motion and I will make a new motion stating that we approve an amount of no more than $1,000 for dumpsters needed for the cleanup of the property on Fire Lane 3.
Did you get that motion, Christie?
I did.
Okay, I got a motion out there. I got Gary making the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Rhonda, right?
Yep.
Vote, Christie,
No,
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
Beverly,
I gotta say no on this one.
no?
Yes, yes. I mean, no is my vote.
I understand the no. Ken is yes.
I wanted to make another motion to go a little higher. That's why I said no.
me too.
That works. That works. I'm happy to see it get done.
Well, we're only gonna have the sheriff a day, so I think the $1,000 for dumpster for one day is reasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable. So
Good.
I think we can get a lot done. We may not finish it. We'll spend what we got and we may have to do another day and maybe I can get some more community service people to work on that. Okay, we're going to move over to new business. The North Lake proposed SAD. I did get a email saying they'd like to have that removed from our agenda and they'd like to pick it up next month. They didn't get the information they were expecting from a lawyer on how they can increase their special assessment district. So we're going to jump over L1. L2 is a resolution to adopt a federal procedure conflict of interest policy. This is pretty much a standard form to get federal grants that we need to approve. Chrissy, can you pop that one up on the screen so all the board members have read that, correct? Understand what it's about? We did make a change to it, Christy and I, because it talked about all the section heads. They had to report the section heads and we moved that to the township supervisor. And in my absence, the clerk would be the ones that they got to contact. We have to file a report with the federal government if someone takes a conflict of interest. So we need to jump on that. So we changed what it said. We don't have too many department heads besides Dave, I guess. So any other discussion? No discussion. Can I get a motion to adopt resolution 2021-16, a resolution to adopt the federal procurement conflict of interest policy as written?
so moved.
Gary moved. Do I have a second?
I'll support. This is Beverly.
Beverly supports. Roll call vote, Christie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
Beverly,
Yes.
and Ken, yes. Cemetery software. Christie, would you like to give a little discussion on that before we open it up to the rest of the board members? I think you got more information than I have on that.
Sure. So our cemeteries documentation is less than desirable right now. That's sugarcoating it. And we desperately need a way to properly organize our cemeteries information. I reached out to clerks around the state. In townships our size or smaller. And the majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them use BSNA, which I think works well for us because we're switching a lot of our software over to BSNA anyway. It allows us to continue that relationship there. Fortunately, we've had some budget changes that I think will allow us to do this without an impact on our budget. And this budget will be provided, an amended budget will be provided at the next meeting to see the changes. It does not impact the budget or does not cause our budget to go over at this moment, but it would later. So that's why the budget amendment is coming later. This will also change our processes a little bit here. Instead of people obtaining paperwork and things of that nature for cemeteries from Jeff, that they would actually be obtaining those here at the hall, which will provide us better control over our records and allow us to better answer questions. And then they would still be maintaining the cemeteries and doing all of the grave openings and whatnot, but the starting point would be the hall. That's my little spiel.
Have you talked to Jeff about this, Christie?
Yes, Jeff is fully in support of us getting software.
And the records that, so you're saying that he has records, not us?
He has some records, we have some records, that is correct.
And
well, I go ahead, Bev.
no, well, I was just going to ask, would we have all of the records then? And I guess I have two questions. And then I see this initial price. Is there a monthly cost, an annual cost? I did look at the proposal earlier, but I'm
Yes, there.
trying to understand that more clearly.
So first of all, yes, it would bring all of too many things at once here, and it's not letting me. So first of all, the records would all be housed at the hall once this occurs. That it'll make things so much better for everyone. Second of all, there is an annual fee, just like all of the other BSNA softwares, and I was just going to look to see exactly what that was, but it wasn't letting me use my mic and look at the same time, so give me a moment.
$2,600. 425.
Well, while you're looking at that up, Christie, I went onto their site and looked up this software and what it's capable of doing and whether we would actually need it or not. And it appears to me that this is for very large municipalities, multiple plots, multiple owners of plots. The ones that I saw in there were charter townships of a population far, far exceeding ours, very large population. And it also includes wizards and different utilities to accomplish different things, linking plots with deeds, availabilities of the links and owners and multiple owners, and also does special documentation, can be customized for burial rights and certificates and deeds, custom designed of invoice certificates. It's a pretty sophisticated system, and there is an annual cost, and there's no help for transferring information in there, other than if you want to pay them $850 a day to do that, which they'd be glad to help at that particular price. I think I would too. But my estimation on this software is that we're nowhere near closely having any reason to adopt this software just because it's BS&A. I also got a hold of Jeff and spoke with him and asked him about this, and he said that they had looked into this. The sections had looked into this with all the different other townships, and all of them are happy the way things are going. They've got the spreadsheets and their information all organized with their Excel documentation. And he told me that he felt that this, although it might be good for some municipalities with larger, maybe 8 or 10 or 12 different cemeteries to coordinate things, he didn't think that it was really necessary with our 3 small cemeteries. I also looked on what type of activity we had with the burials and that sort of thing for the last 4 years, and it's been very little. So I'm not enthused about this at all. Actually, I'm a little opposed to it.
I find it very interesting that Jeff told you something completely opposite of what he told me. So that's very interesting to me. I would like to point out that while we may appear to be small, we have technically 4 cemeteries, one with 2,500 plots, one with 371 plots, one with 316 plots, and one with 3,868 plots, all of which have had problems in the past with locations and deed attachments. All of the services that you mentioned that this software does, we would use. We are required by the state to maintain appropriate documentation for our cemeteries. And currently, I am not comfortable with the way things are.
Christy, the 2 cemeteries you named, the 2,500 and the 3,000, what cemeteries are those?
Grand Junction has 2,500 plots, and the Breedsville Section 2 has 3,868 plots.
What, the Breedsville Cemetery?
The Section 2 of the Breedsville Cemetery. There's a small section of the Breedsville Cemetery. It's actually done on 2 different plots, but we have all the plot maps here, and that's what was originally mapped.
3,000? I'm just amazed because I've walked that cemetery before. I would never guess that there were 3,000 souls there.
Okay, so no, I didn't say there were 3,000 souls there. I said there were 3,000
grave sites.
Right. Yeah. And you have to remember that some of them go back into areas that probably are not currently maintained. But we still have to keep track of all of these. And the biggest problem is we have some struggles with keeping track of deeds. And that needs to be done better.
Well, when I spoke with Jeff, he said that he was comfortable with what they have done, and the problems were fixed. And actually his comment, like I said, he said he doesn't think we need this at all.
Well, that's nice, but Jeff is not the person who this falls on. This is a clerk statutory responsibility. And I am not comfortable with the way things are. And Jeff has not provided me with the information I have requested. So I would like to have all of the records in the township, which is where they should be.
And where are you going to get the information to input this if it's not obtained by the sexton?
Well, he needs to provide it to us.
Okay.
I don't know what else. We'll have to get the attorney involved if you won't. He needs to provide all the documentation that he has.
And you're saying at this point, he hasn't done that?
That is correct.
Then what makes you think that he's going to provide it any differently if we have the new software?
Because we will have a change of policy and procedure, and then he'll need to provide it to us. It won't be a matter of him managing it. It'll be a matter of us managing it.
Well, okay. I just disagree on this point. I don't think our small community that has maybe 5,000 total plats that aren't totally filled yet with the 4 little cemeteries doesn't warrant this type of cost.
And I would challenge you to come in here and manage those records.
And you were saying what? I didn't understand that.
I said I would challenge you to come in and manage those records.
Well, you can challenge me if you'd like, but it's not my job. I don't have the authority to do it.
Correct, I do, and it's very difficult to manage all of these records.
Is there any way the board can give a motion, something to the effect of directing Jess Casper to turn over the cemetery records to our township clerk?
Now hold on a second.
Okay.
Let me be very clear here. I want copies of all of the records if he is going to continue to maintain all of this. If
Okay.
I have to maintain it all, then we need the software. But otherwise, I still need copies of everything. So let's just be very clear about that.
Okay, so you have a lot of the records, copies of them, not the originals.
No, I don't. I don't even have copies.
Okay. What would you like the township board to do other than the BS&A cemetery application thing? Is there something we can help you with getting that all organized, or a different program at less cost, or?
Like I said, I did all the research ahead of time and talked to all the smaller communities about what they were using, and this is what they were using. So I can try to find another something, but my understanding is there's very little out there that is functional. So I guess I can go back to the drawing board.
Well, let's take this back up next month, and let's have some options that we could look at, and all of us should look at this legally of what we have to do, and if we're meeting our legal obligation with the record keeping and with the maintaining of these cemeteries and according with the state laws. And if we're not, then we need to come together next month and put together something that will move us in that direction. How's that sound?
The only comment I have on that, Ken, is if it hasn't been happening in the past and we haven't been doing what we're supposed to do with the state, how come it hasn't been corrected before this? And how come there hasn't been some kind of a input regarding that?
Because I can only handle so many changes in a year and a half. I've been working very hard to bring everything back up to speed, and I do not want to have an illegal situation placed on my shoulders because this is my statutory requirement.
Well, I don't think that would happen if you had the information that the section keeps with not only our cemeteries, but the other cemeteries that he works with. If there was a question or a problem with those, you would think that the other cemeteries would have the same issue, and apparently they don't. I think that the best thing to do would be, if you need information, sit down with the sexton and get the information. I don't think the board needs to take action on this
Gary,
at all.
I don't understand why you're thinking I did not do that first. That was the very first thing I did. I had Jeff sitting in my office and we discussed all of this. I am not an incompetent leader. I can have him sit in my office and talk to him.
Christie, is your statutory duty the keeping of the records? Or
My
being the
statutory
sexton?
duty actually is not just the keeping of the records, it's both the keeping of the records and management of cemeteries.
And that's Township?
Yes.
And are we, I know that you guys had went through the boxes and stuff. Are we sure the missing records don't exist anywhere? Because that's kind of,
Yes.
so this is slightly off topic, but what is the remedy to that? You have to know who's buried where, because you have to know someone's already there, so you don't put someone else on top of them.
Until I have the records from Jeff, I don't know.
I'm sure that the sexton keeps accurate records of that. And if there is to be a burial or an opening of a grave, I'm sure it's researched through him as well as yourself before it's even started.
It's never researched through me because I do not have the records.
Well, I think that's a situation between you and Jeff then.
Well, I like Ken's idea because the sexton would be an employee of the township, just like the assessor and other positions are basically employees too. I feel like he can be told to provide us with copies of all the records that he has. I mean, this needs, that part of it for sure needs to get dealt with sooner than later.
I think at this point, since we've had a lot of discussion and there's some unknowns here and some things that maybe need to be cleared out, that we postpone this so there can be other discussion and other information obtained, and even possibly a meeting between the people involved to clarify things.
Was
Does
that a
that mean
motion?
you would like to attend, Gary? Because I've had this meeting already.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Does that mean you need to attend? Because I've already had this meeting that you're referring to.
I'd be more than happy to attend.
So that means you want to attend.
I
Yes.
want to attend. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I just said I'd be more than happy to, of course.
Well, we need to get a resolution to it. I used to be the clerk, and cemeteries are not an easy task. I will say that. And we really need to have very good records. We're issuing titles for them all the time. I think they were free. We gave out free cemetery plots back in 1998. So, Gary, I think you made a motion to postpone this till next month, correct?
That's correct.
Do we have a second?
I'll support
That is
Beverly.
Christie? Roll call vote?
No,
Yes? What's your vote?
no,
Collins?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes,
Sure.
Yes.
I do sympathize with Casey's, and I understand her no. I'm going to vote yes on this because I think another month we should be able to get this fixed one way or the other. But it needs to be fixed. She's absolutely got a problem with the records there. Moving
Well,
on to I-4.
My only other comment is if it's been an issue for this long, one more month isn't going to make any difference.
That's kind of what I said, Gary. Item 1.4, 9/11 service plan update. We have a document on the plan that they proposed to us. I read through it. I don't see any outliners there. It looks like it's going along well. And does anyone have any other discussion on it? Would they like to say?
It was a long document.
Pardon?
I said it was a long document.
It was a long document, but it is detailed and I think it's well written and well received. So I don't have an issue with it at all.
No.
Okay. There's no action needs to be taken there. Item I-5, Forling Sullivan offered to purchase 7 lots, wetland lots, not being bid in the Saddle Lake subdivision bid sale. They're part of lot 8006 421 808-1 lots 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 of block 18.
Ken, are these lots, are they next to Florian Sullivan?
There's a road between him and those lots. So no, it's adjacent to his property, but not directly, I guess is the way to say it.
And why are they not being bid?
They're not being bid because there's a park right next to them, and that park is full of water, and it comes up on at times. Right now, it's about a quarter of the lot coming up toward where that road is. A quarter from the park onto the property is flooded right now, and when you have a lot of rain, the flood gets to about half of the lot. I wouldn't put them on the bid because they were wetland. You're not going to be able to build on them. And I think all he wants to do is put a small garage on them.
Isn't that building?
Well, he's going to put it up near the road, and there's setbacks in that he's got to live with, but he's going to do that, and he's probably going to raise it up a little bit, make it level so that he doesn't have the problem when the water comes up high. But that's up to him what he does if he wants to buy them. But anyways, he's been talking to me, and I told him that we really don't feel comfortable selling them because you're not going to be able to build on them. And then I got the letter. And since I got the letter, I thought I'd bring it to the township board. I think it's their decision you got an offer. He's offering $75 per lot. It's going to be a total of $525. Up to you, up to us to make a decision.
Well, based on what you said here and in the agenda, it said clarified that they're wetlands and if it's not buildable. And of course, you can't do anything with wetlands because DEQ is going to get involved. And if he also already has adjacent property and he's willing to buy them, I don't see any reason we shouldn't sell them to him. I don't think anybody else is going to buy them.
And I don't think $75 unreasonable otherwise we would just hold on to them ourselves.
Ken, is there because we do sell them, all of these lots we've sold as is, there's no chance of liability here because we know they're flooding lots? Does he as is take care of that?
I think he actually says that in his letter. He recognizes and makes a clear statement that they're water. There's water on them.
Yeah, in his letter, he says that they're swamps. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I see that. I just double checking.
Yeah, and he's right. I went and looked at him. I mean, I wouldn't buy him.
maybe he wants to make Florian's Froggy Farm.
No, I don't think he wants to make a farm. He's he's an older guy and gets around kind of hard, but I think he wants to have a little outdoor workshop, small, not big.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's looking for, but I don't know that for sure. But he made us an offer. I think we have to recognize it and make a decision. So, any other discussion? If not, can I get a motion to sell 7 lots, lot 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of block 18 for $525 to Florian Sullivan?
I would move that we sell lots 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of block 18 and lot 14 of block 18 to Mr. Florian Sullivan for his offer purchase price of $75 a lot.
Yeah, $75 times 7 or $75 times 7 is 525, correct? I'm going to give him one title for this. That's kind of why I had it lot 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of block 18 instead of having 2 separate titles.
75 times 7 is 525.
525.
I'll support.
Okay, I got motion by Gary.
Support by Bev.
Bev. And vote. Christie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
Beverly,
Yes.
Speicher, yes. Item I6 is the sale of surplus property. Add a list of furniture as an item. Basically, we've cleaned out the shed. We have discarded, under the direction of Christie, a lot of the expired retention records. And there's a lot of items in that shed that of old chairs, tables, filing cabinets that we would like to just have a like a garage sale in the township hall where people could come in and go through and pick out stuff and then pay us for what they take. Is there any discussion on that?
this isn't other equipment or property that could be used by us or by the township in the hall, or maybe something else for maybe the fire department that may be able to be used.
I think Dave's on the line. If Dave wants to lay claim to any of it, he's welcome to, but the rest of it, I don't believe that we can use it anywhere here.
Okay, I just thought maybe we'd take care of ourselves first.
Well, I've
Any
got
oth-
to come in and buy that old mop bucket.
Any other discussion? Can I get a
No.
motion to approve the sale of surplus property as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the sale of surplus property as presented.
This is,
Beverly.
boy, I'm gonna have to recognize that name. Second, or we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second. It's Rhonda.
Rhonda. Rhonda seconded. Roll call vote. Christie,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
Beverly,
Yes.
Ken, yes. 1-7, motion to accept Chris Hosman's resignation. Is there any discussion on that?
Yes, I would like to say that, Ken, I appreciate and I actually like your idea of having a commission, a special advisory committee of farmers, because it is very difficult for them to attend meetings on our type of schedule. So I do appreciate that, that you thought of that. And I appreciate the time that Chris did put in.
Well, I think Chris is a very valuable asset, and somehow we do need to get the farmer's point of view, since they have 80% of our township covered. And I can only think, coming from farming, I sympathize with him, and I think we do need to have some sort of advisory committee of farmers where they can meet at their time. 3 of them get together and come back and tell us what they like, don't like, or where we ought to be going. So, yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Any other discussion? Can I get a motion to accept Chris Hosman's resignation from the Planning Commission?
I'll make the motion to accept Chris Hodgman's resignation from Planning Commission.
Is that Beverly?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I second. Rhonda.
Rhonda, second. Christie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes, with reservation.
Beverly?
I thought I already voted. Yes.
No, you made the motion.
Oh, okay.
And Ken, yes. Appointment of a planning commission member. Cheryl Ball has approached the township, was interested to be on the planning commission. I've known about that for about, I think it's about 3 months now. And this opportunity has come up, so I'm making a motion to appoint Cheryl Bull to the Planning Commission for a 3.25-year term ending on December 31st, 2024. The 0.25 would be to finish out Chris Hodgman's term. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Gary, right?
Correct.
Roll call vote. Christie?
Yes.
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
And Ken, yes. We're at the time in the meeting where we're going to have our second public comment. And after we get through the board comments, we will discuss going into a possible closed session for the possible easement purchase or the purchase of property. So I want to let you know that we're not all done here. We may go into closed session later. And when we come out of that, we'll have another public comment. So, Christie, I guess open the gates.
Okay, I see someone on a Moto E6 with a hand raised. Did you have a comment?
Yes, I do. Hello, everyone. This is Alan Bray. I've previously been having a lot of problems with violence, criminal activity, just nonsense, compliance, just unwilling. They're destroying the neighbor's property. I called the sheriff's department. They're unwilling to do anything because they're right back out here doing it again. I've got stalking problems. Sheriff's department is unwilling to do anything. Prosecutor is unwilling to. So I'm coming to the township. If it's something for the township and it's going to damage it, which I think it does because the trust issue. If somebody has an issue, where do you got to come to? Township. And that's what I'm trying to present to you guys to see what kind of actions you guys are willing to take. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not asking for something that's impossible to do. But I mean, I've got issues over here, and I maybe more people for neighborhood watch, more people from community trying to assist this to get rid of it. I mean, we're doing stuff to sell houses and kick people out of the homes and away from our township, but we're not trying to save the ones we still have here. Is there any kind of action or protocol for this?
Alan, during public comment, the township board is not actually capable of responding as a board to you. So you're not going to get a response. If you want to get on the agenda, you'd have to write us a document asking to be placed on the township agenda.
Oh, well, I was told to go to this meeting and bring my comment forward.
You
I
don't get it.
apologize.
You did bring your comment forward and we all heard your comment, but we can't act on it unless it's part of the agenda as new business, old business.
Oh, okay. So I got to regroup and come back again because the issue
Yeah,
isn't something important.
And if you can give us a document that lays out what the problem is, any evidence you have that would support the problem that you're having, then we can get you on the agenda and then the board will take and vote on some action or decide they don't want to take any action. But that would be how the
In a
process
special
would work.
meeting, I tried that. You told me no. So that's why I was
But-
told to come to this meeting. I'm not sure if the communication is breaking down. I've been trying to get into these meetings and, you know, I'm trying to do the right thing by the right action. And
As
I believe it is you, the supervisor, the agent.
As I told you before, it takes two people to get your issue on the agenda. And you have to write and document what you want to do or what the problem is that the board can take action on. It will come in here. We will look at it. If we can get two boards to agree to it, it goes on the agenda. Then whatever you provide to us, you'll be able to talk about it. We'll be able to review it. We'll be able to do research before the meeting on what your issue is. And then we should be able to give you a proper hearing, listen to you, and take some action, or may not take any action.
So then really neighbors looking out for neighbors means nothing really. Because you guys are my neighbors. I mean, who else do I go to? That's my understanding of a township, the board members. Which one would not want to help someone out that's being criminally abused by silly people that they're not being told to stop? I mean, what person will go against that? Everyone in this board has a duty for the township people, correct? I'm not asking for a lot.
Well, you told us you went to the sheriff, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, criminal acts goes to the sheriff, not the township board.
Well,
If they're doing some criminal act, you have to take the sheriff.
okay, I did that. They're still creating damages in your township.
Then
I don't-
you need to document, you need to get whatever records you have of what they have, and you need to make a presentation that we can sit down and logically look at to be able to set forth a discussion with you at a township board meeting. Now, I've gone as far as I probably can go having a discussion during this public comment section, because this isn't the time or place for me to tell you how to do what I've already told you to do. I mean, you gotta present us something that we can work with to be able to get you on the agenda. Okay?
So then there's no sense of trying because that will be all taken care of by 30 days. All right, gentlemen, I'm sorry for wasting your time. I thought I could come to you as a person of the township because I never heard of anybody blow them off and say, there's some paperwork you got to do.
You have an opportunity for public comment. We allow 3 minutes for public comment. We hear your public comment, and I'm going to look into what you said. I'm going to talk to our sheriff when he's back tomorrow. But, if you really want to get in front of the whole board, the process is the process. I mean, we're all listening to you. We're not listening to you. We just can't take action.
Okay, Karen, you're next.
Thank you. For starters, I would like to thank Supervisor Speicher for the ability to handle it when emotions are getting in the way. That's an important thing. And sometimes just diffusing it for the current and then coming back to it at a later time is really all that's needed anyway. So hopefully that will be the case. On a couple different topics, on the capital improvement plan survey, I don't know how you guys are coming with results, but there was one thing that I did object to a little bit, so I'm at least going to say it once, where you're asking for examples of the top 3 items of spending. I think the fact that examples were given, I'm sure it was meant to kind of help people along, but on the other hand, it kind of puts ideas in their heads. And in the case of emergency services, in your minds, it probably means fire and ambulance, but it could mean food and shelter to someone else. So I'm afraid that that answer might be skewed. But anyway, another question, a different topic, is whether or not you're going to do a free dump day. And I realize another one, and I know you can't answer right now. Another topic is I was kind of surprised to see on the website posting for a deputy clerk / FOIA coordinator. Although townships may elect to retain the same individuals for both positions, I will remind the board that these are 2 separate functions and caution against a combination. And that's just the way it appears in the posting. The deputy clerk is selected solely by the clerk, but the FOIA coordinator has distinct duties that must be approved by the whole board. This posting estimates kind of a substantial number of regular hours for a deputy rather than as the exception. And I think it was clear to all of us during the campaign season that this township was not that willing to pay higher salaries, let alone designating some of those routine work items. So I'm concerned about that. On the cemetery sexton issues, I personally had not read and haven't seen, maybe Clerk Case can provide it, where it's actually a statutory duty specifically. There is an overarching duty to maintain custody of township records. So maybe that's where that's coming from. But I do imagine that more discussion will take care of any of the differences of opinions on that. So I guess those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, and it looks like Dale is next.
Okay, am I off mute?
Yes.
All right, I have a couple comments on things that were on the agenda. I must agree with Christy. This township needs all the broadband support it can get. Sitting on money is not going to get us more grant money in the future. In fact, it will keep you from getting grant money. Look at the recent survey. No one wants to wait until 2024 for broadband. They want it in their homes now and not at the township hall. We already have it at the township hall and it's not being used till its fullest capacity, i.e. the entire board's not at the hall tonight. You're all scattered all over the place and you could all be there broadcasting from the hall. The county once again wants to dip their fingers into our pie and grab our money for their use. So by all means, set on it so that you don't get any more grants because you already have money for your projects when they look at it, when more grant money is going to be doled out. That way we can hand it over to the county's eager waiting hands. The next thing I would ask is about, I'd like to ask how many of the board members who seem to have so much knowledge have worked with the cemetery plot sales and deeds, maps, funeral homes, and families. Have you ever had to sit with a family to have a loved one dug up and moved? this software is the first small step of what should take place. Then you should have a company come in and scan all the cemeteries and update all the plats so everything is up to date, because Columbia Township does not know if anyone is buried in every plot or not that shows that somebody's there. There's been people because in a plot and there was somebody buried in the spot next to them where their husband or wife was supposed to be. Consequently, they were moved. This is not a new problem. It's just being brought to light once again by our clerk, and it appears our clerk wants to deal with it and needs the board to support in doing so, not be a roadblock. So step up to the plate and make it happen. If anybody wants to talk any history about this, you have my number, because this isn't a new problem. It's been going on. Supervisor Speicher brought it up. It was going on back when he was on the board. It was going on when I was at the board. And I personally was involved when somebody that was a lifelong friend had to be moved in Breedsville. So if anybody wants to talk, call me. This needs to be addressed, and it sounds like there's some nitpicking going on there. And we need to solve the problem, not make more problems. Thank you.
Okay.
This is Kurt Doro, if I may reply to that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got the floor.
Okay, well, thanks. I don't know where that comment came from, that the county wants to dip its hand into the township's money. I don't know where, that was not a justified comment. Thank you.
Well, I would like to reply back to that, Kurt. I used to be the township supervisor, and I worked with the county and had the county trying to dip their hand into the till a lot, mainly the road funds. So if you'd like to call me and talk to me about it, I can give you examples of it.
No, I know past history. I'm not going to debate this, and other things have been debated, but that is not true in this case. Thank you.
Chrissy, you got any more hands up?
No, but I'm just checking really quick to make sure I don't have any emails or anything.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like the only chat I had, Dale already stated, so I think we're good.
Okay, the next thing is correspondence. I received a letter from the Berkey family on the picnic tables at the pavilion. I know the board is planning on having a dedication cemetery for the pavilion in recognition of the Berkey family. The board is committed to providing the picnic tables for the pavilion and will do so shortly. Our next meeting is going to be September 21st. Have we set a date for the free dump days? I thought we did that previously, the week after Labor Day. Am I mistaken?
I think you and I talked about it and forgot to put it on the agenda this month.
Should we consider putting that on the agenda right now and set those dates? Because I think that's a very important thing that we need to get done. Any of the board members be objected to placing the of setting the free dump day for the second week in September?
I don't have no objection.
Does anyone have objection adding that to our agenda at this point in time?
I don't have an objection as long as we legally can add it at this late time.
Can I get a motion then to have a free dump days for Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th of September?
And I'm not sure that we can do this since we've already approved the agenda for this evening. I could be wrong, but I don't think we can add anything.
I think we as a board can add things to the agenda if we make a motion and talk about changing the agenda to add, setting a free dump day. Christie, what's your, thoughts on adding that? Or is it allowed by law?
Give me a minute.
I mean, we set the agenda, we can change the agenda. I don't like doing it, but I think some cases you have to.
At the very least, we need to probably make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Yeah, that's what I would think. We'd add it to the agenda and then we'd discuss it and then vote on it. For some reason, I thought we had already approved that.
So while they're looking at this, Ken, are you talking about the Saturday, the 11th?
Yeah, it'd be the 11th and the 12th. I was
Ken,
looking at
would the
that would
motion also include an add in the reminder?
Yeah. We want to get the Chicago people before they're out of town. Because they normally Labor Day is about when they start, right after the week after that, they start cleaning up around the lakes to leave. Is this going to be a while, Christie, to feather this out?
I'm almost there. 1 second. Okay, we can amend the agenda in the middle of the meeting by adding an item with a motion with a 2/3 or higher vote.
There we go. So we want to amend the agenda to include a free dump days for September 11th and 12th. Do I have a motion to do that?
Hold on, we need a motion to add
Good.
the free dump days to the agenda in item 11A.
You said 11A? Or
Yes.
8A?
Well,
11A.
we're already down to 11, so we're gonna do 11A.
Okay. Do I have a motion to do that?
Yes. I'll make the motion to add the free dump days to the agenda. I'm
And
not sure of the item number 11A.
well, she's counting the motions, how many motions she has. So
Oh, okay.
The motion is going to be 11A. It's not, we got some of them that have more than one motion in them. So motion 11A, Bev has made a motion. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Gary's made a second. So now we have it, the motion to put it to the agenda. So now we're going to have a motion. This is going to be number 11B.
No, we're still on 11. It'll still be 11A.
It's
We'll just
still-
have a
yeah.
second motion on 11A.
Oh, we can have a second motion on 11A?
Yes,
So the second motion is going to be to have a free dump day for September 11th and 12th and advertising in the reminder. Can I get a motion to have that?
I move that we add a free dump weekend, September 11th and 12th. Did I say free dump day already? a free dump weekend for September 11th and 12th, along with an ad and a reminder to advertise that free dump weekend.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is that
Bev.
Beverly?
Yeah.
Bev. Bev second, roll call vote. Casey,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
and Spicer, yes. Karen, thank you for bringing that up. And board members, thank you for adding that and making that happen. Now we're down to board comments. Gary.
At this point, I don't have any particular comments in mind. I may have some for next meeting, but I'll reserve those. Just thank everybody for their comments and for their evaluations this evening, and hope that everybody continues to have a good upcoming weekend.
Beverly.
I have no comment tonight. Thank you.
No comments. Treasurer Collins.
My only comment is, as far as the ARPA funds, the broadband's not a bad idea, but the biggest complaint I hear in this township is the cell phone service. So maybe we ought to look into that too.
Is that it?
Yes.
Clerk Case.
I found out today that our attorney is experiencing some medical issues. So I just wanted to let the board know that he will remain available. He does have a backup in place in case there is an issue, and just keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Anything else? Chrissy, you done?
I'm done.
Ken Spicer, board comments. We had a good meeting tonight. It's robust. I think you had a lot of good discussion. I think that we covered a lot of areas. I do think there's a problem with the cemetery and that we need to get better accounting of that. I think that we got a little time to do that. And I do believe that the internet is one of the most important things that we can do for all the community, everyone in Columbia Township. Some of us have good communication, some of us don't, but it's got to get to everyone. The schools are using online stuff, and if we don't have internet out in the rural area, it's really hurting our kids. It's hurting people that work, that could be working at home and have to go to work. So we really need to take another good look at helping out with funding broadband in our township. But we had a good discussion on it, but more to come. That was done for me. Karen, thank you for the nice comments. Possible closed session. We have a possible easement or purchase of property discussion. There are 2 parcels of property owned in the township where it might be in the best interest of the township to purchase some additional land to make these parcels more desirable for selling. Under the Open Meeting Act, we need a 2/3 roll call vote for the township board members to be able to go into a closed session for the purpose and to consider the purchasing of property up to the time the purchase that property is obtained. Is there any further discussion on why we're requesting to go into a motion for closed session? If not, Can I have a motion to enter into a closed session to discuss the purchase of land to make some township-owned parcels more desirable to sell?
I'll
I'll
move
make-
to enter
Go
closed session at 9:01 to consider the possible purchase of land.
And that was who?
Christie,
That Christie. Do I have a second?
Yes, Beverly, I'll second.
Second by Beverly, roll call vote. Christie,
yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
Beverly,
Yes.
and Ken, yes. Time entered, closed session is 9:01.
All right, so this is what's gonna happen for those of you in public attendance. You'll be removed from the meeting. You can request re-access to the meeting at any time. You will not be allowed back into the meeting until the closed session is over. So it'll put you in a waiting room until the closed session is over, at which point I will allow anyone in the waiting room back in.
Have you moved everyone out yet?
No, it's gonna
Nope.
take me just a minute. I'll let you know when it's all done.
Let me know when you're done.
Okay, we are all set.
I think I added to the township agenda package a picture of the two parcels on Jepta Lake. And I showed possible portions of land that I believe that we can attempt to get an easement on, or should attempt to get an easement on, and try to purchase it. The the upper parcel, I want to make sure you know that at one time I owned that parcel, and there's a long story about it, but it's now in the township. But at one time I owned that. I don't think there's a conflict of interest in me talking about it. I want the township to sell it. But there's a ditch going up there, and alongside that ditch, you should have access. I believe we can get access there if we don't have it, but there's a ditch there. So, and when I bought it, that ditch was there, and that was how I was going to get my access. So that's a little insight on that one. So to do that, I think we have to get permission from the County Drain Commission, because it's really his access. And we'll have to look into that. But to do that, I think we need to have the board directing that we go talk to the county and see what the county wants, and that we're looking at obtaining that portion of property, either through a purchase, a right-of-way, an easement. The second property, it looked like in 1994 that was split off. And we own the whole lake. And the gentleman that's right behind it has got a nice path going down there, and he keeps it all mowed, and he's got a building in it. And really, it's our property. To
Whoa.
do that, go ahead.
Oh, I just said, whoa, no, I didn't mean stop.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, if you look at the drawings that I got in the package, you'll actually see the building down there. But we can either look at selling that to him, which we're not actually talking about selling here. We're talking about purchasing property to do that, or we'd have to purchase property from him. But to go talk to him and to negotiate with him, I really think I need to have direction from or authority from the township board. So, but we could get an easement. I have talked to the attorney about getting adverse possession for an easement. And he hasn't got back with me on how we could do that or if we could do that. So that's kind of where we're at. We're looking at getting easements, of purchasing easements, or purchasing an access to that lot that where we have 2 acres and a whole bunch of lake frontage on Lower Jep Lake. And that property was appraised by the assessor at somewhere around 250,000. The other one was 140,000, but they have to have access. I read an old document about the value of them. If you have no access, is half the price. So the 250 would be 125 if you don't want to mess with purchasing assets. That'd be for the top one. It'd be half of 140 is 70,000. Well, that'd be for the top one. 71 for the top one and 125 for the bottom one. Now I'm going to leave it up to you to discuss and kind of decide where you'd like me to go with all this.
Well, where are the properties on this map here that's on screen? Where somebody can move the cursor to wherever that's highlighted.
I'm not seeing what you guys are seeing.
Well, if you didn't come into the closed session type or the documents only allowed to be looked at by the township board.
I didn't know I needed to do anything different other than stay in the meeting.
Just look at what I'm sharing right now on Zoom, and then you'll be able to see what we're looking at.
Is this,
We're looking at-
this is showing on 48th
Oh,
Street?
oh, I see.
It's on the intersection of
oh.
51st and 48th Street. And you see Lower Jet Lake, that little dot there, that's all that land right there is the township. Like Christie, the cursor up a little bit higher. That's somebody else's property you're on. Keep going up. Now go to your left. That right there is where the township owns. The access would be on the upper part of the page where you see that L shape. Be up on the top right along the property line. We would have to buy an easement to get there. The other one is up higher. And you cursor over to your right, come down to the next one right there. And you'd go straight up 48th Street to get to that. The lot below it is a subdivision. So they have to have access. So I think that ditch is their access also. But we may have to buy that easement to get to that property. Now, all that property around that one is owned by Cook Industries out of Chicago. And he might be interested in purchasing it.
So I guess I'm a little confused on the terminology of access. Are you talking lake access? Because it looked like it's adjacent to the lake.
Road access. Both of them have lake access.
Ken, could you have Christie point out the first lot with the cursor?
She just put it there right now.
And I am not seeing it.
Okay, so you need access, road access is what you're talking.
I see. Thank you,
We need a
Christie.
road access. They have lake access. We're looking for road easement to purchase it.
Right, okay.
Because they're lakefront, you just can't get to the lots without trespassing on someone else's lot currently.
That is correct. Now, he already has a road through his property to get to it.
Ken, who owns the property directly? I guess it's going to be east of that one right there. Who owns that?
I think the name is Richard Munn, M-O-N, Richard Munn.
Has he expressed any interest of buying that other little parcel?
I have not talked with them about the purchasing of properties or us buying properties, and I'm looking for the township board to give me that direction. That's what I don't think I could go out and start negotiating. You gave me permission on the Little Bear subdivision and Saddle Lake subdivision, but I'm going to need something from the township board directing me to go do something here, so I can go do it.
So the standard is roughly 50% of value for something without an easement. Should we consider offering these at 50% value to the adjacent landowners?
That was my thought, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Or we could even ask more. We could tell them that the true cash value is this and see if they balk or ask them for a counter offer.
Yeah, especially that lot because they're not currently lakefront and then they would be.
Yep. And their price of their whole property will go sky high.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
My personal opinion, we need to sell them, and we need to sell them to get them on the tax roll because it's going to it only makes sense.
So do you want, when we come out of session, do you want a motion that is going to give you a temporary solution in case the adjacent property owners buy? Or do you want something that's going to cover both a temporary and a long-term if they refuse?
What I would like to get is something that to the effect that allows me to negotiate the purchase of an easement for the access or the sale. Like, we can't really use the sale because we can't discuss that here. Well, you got to give me permission to get the easement to both of those properties.
Okay. I mean, I have an idea of,
And then if you want to add other stuff, we have to do that in the closed session if you want me to attempt to sell the properties as is.
yeah.
Get my
So,
drift?
yep, I totally understand what you're saying, and I can totally form an appropriate motion once we're out of closed session.
Yeah. But the closed session motion that we would discuss would be to obtain easements. And we have to do that outside too, because we made a
Yes.
decision to get an easement. But we talked about it at this closed session. When we come out of closed session, if you want me to negotiate a sale, to anything related to a sale or that, then we need to talk about that in the open section and make it clear that we've discussed whatever we might have discussed here, that we're not trying to hide it from anyone. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've just got a general question. Does Jeff the Lake have any public access?
Yes,
Okay.
both of them do. If I wanted to, I could go into the access, come off 48th onto Lower Jet. Is it 48? 47, 49th. There's access on the bottom of Lower Jet Lake. I could go onto that. I could paddle over to that lot and I could squat there. Public property.
Ken, I have a question on the piece of property that's north of where we are, the second piece, that parcel up there. Who owns the adjacent land on that?
It is imbounded by Cook Industries. Cook owns all that. He owns the little L shape down below, even below that. Go down farther, he even owns that one. Cook owns that, owns the one above it. We're sitting right in the middle of him.
Is
He
that
owns
the one
that one
about
above it.
is that the guy who bought the golf course too?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And does he have access to that other property?
Does he have
Yes.
access to the other property? The
To the
lower one,
property-
yes. We could swap lots with him. We can negotiate a swap of that lot. You give us that lot to give us access down below. Off 48.
He has a house sitting right here where my cursor is, so he has access. There's a long drive. I can't move my cursor and talk at the same time. There's a long driveway there, so he has access to all of the properties. And it's really kind of quite odd that we have this one lot in the middle of his property.
So are you saying that this driveway starts at 48th Street and goes north up to his house?
There is a ditch there. And what I'm saying is along the ditch, you should be able to get an easement because that's still 48th Street. And I contacted the road commission and I haven't got a response about whether 48th Street continues to Jetta Lake, which I believe it would.
Okay, so he has a private drive next to that ditch. Is that what you're saying?
Right where the cursor is. She's
Yeah.
right on where the private drive goes.
Okay,
It goes
okay.
right up like that back to his property, his house.
So I'm thinking they might be motivated because just the thought of someone else buying that strip by them, that might motivate them right there.
Do we have an estimated high-end cost for negotiating the easements on both properties?
Well, I don't know, just by looking at this and what he owns, if it would be obviously to his benefit that have that other parcel. And if you try to put an easement in there, I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of issues with easements,
So
especially.
just to be clear, Gary, that's not my first preference. I'm just asking that question so that I can properly phrase the motion when we're all done.
Okay,
My
okay.
preference is that we not have to get the easement.
right, okay, yeah. Okay, so Ken, you need a motion to,
We can't do a motion here. We have to wait until we move out of closed session.
okay, all right,
The motion will be out of closed session, and it basically should say that I have the right to negotiate the purchase of easements for one lot and the other lot.
sure, okay,
And that you just, then you could even say that it has to come back to the board. Any negotiation has to be approved by the township board.
sure,
Any final agreement that I might get with these people. And then the second motion, when we come out, should be talking to about me contacting them for purchasing that land.
right,
And basically, we're gonna try to get 80% of what the assessor says the true cash value is.
I'd like to actually I want to do just one motion. I have an idea for one motion. So
Okay.
when we get out, if we could just talk about the fact that, that we're considering that sale.
I think it should be a motion to allow the township supervisor to negotiate the purchase of an easement for lot XYZ and lot XYZ.
Mhm.
That's simple. And then you could even on the end, and any final agreement has to come back to the board. How about that? Does that sound all right?
Sounds fine to me. Do you need a motion to end the closed session when we're ready?
We do. What
Chris-
are the parcel numbers? Ken, do you know those right off the top of your head without me digging through this?
Parcel numbers is on the map. Right in the center of the map, you should have a parcel number. Or on the top of the map, go up above. Don't I say the parcel? Yeah, right up there. All the way to the top. 08, I can't read it, 035, right? It's kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, I got them. I just want to make sure that I had them on hand when we went back into open session.
Should have I both of them, I put them right on the top. I described the property and then I gave you a picture of it. I already generated a letter for Cook's Holding LLC about that parcel.
Okay.
And then when I did it, the assessor went and told me what it was worth and I had to abort because I about gave it away. And that's why we go to the assessor before we do the bidding.
Well, in today's market especially, I mean, you're talking lake frontage, so
Yeah. We good, Chrissy?
Yes. So now
Can
we
I
need
get
a
a
mo,
mo? Can I get a motion to exit the closed meeting and return to the regular meeting?
I'll make the motion to exit the closed meeting and return to the regular meeting
That's gonna be at 9:22.
at 9:22.
And that's Rhonda that made the motion?
Beverly.
Beverly. Why do I keep thinking it's Rhonda?
I don't know, but you can say Rhonda.
Rhonda's my favorite, I guess. Okay, Beverly made the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Gary's got a second. Christie, you ready for roll call?
yep,
Christie, is that a yep?
yes,
Rhonda?
Yes.
Gruss?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Spicer, yes. We have now left the closed session.
all right, give me 1 minute, I gotta get recordings all back on. And we do not have anybody in the waiting room, so we can move forward.
Nobody's waiting? Okay, I guess now that we're, does everyone have a good understanding of what we just looked at? And is there any comment about what we just discussed, I guess?
No, I wish the land were situated differently so that it could be a park, but it looks like it's our best option is to sell it.
Okay. So what we need now is a motion to authorize. You wrote it down, right, Christie? You want to
Yeah,
read the
I'm gonna-
motion that we
yeah,
talked
I'll-
about? in
I'll-
closed session?
I'll make a motion. Just give me 1 second. I'm still writing. 1 second.
Okay, I'll give you all the time you need.
Okay. I move to negotiate the sale of parcels 80-06-035-001-00 and 80-06-035-003-10 with adjacent landowners at a minimum value of 50% true cash value, and if unsuccessful, negotiate easements to those properties.
I'll support.
Well, I'm not sure that we want to say 50%.
Oh,
I'm not, no, that was the minimum. That's the
did you
minimum.
restate that, Christie?
Well, even if we have a minimum that we say in there, if somebody reads that, then they know that the board has authorized me a
Right.
50% thing. I mean,
So are you gonna bring the sale back to us then?
I'm going to bring the sale back to you. If I do any negotiation, I think the final decision is the township board.
Okay,
I'm
So
going to
I'll-
work at getting the highest price I can.
okay.
I'm going to work at getting full true cash value when I start. And then I'm going to work my way down till he said he's willing to buy it.
All right,
And
then
whatever that is, will come back to the board.
All right, then I'll make my motion state, move to negotiate the sale of the parcels, as I stated earlier, with adjacent landowners. And if unsuccessful, negotiate easement, or if unsuccessful, provide the supervisor with the power to negotiate easements to these properties.
Yeah. And final decision shall be made by the township board. And if you guys don't approve it, then that's the way it is. But we'll get the best we could get. Then we'll end up with going the easement route. but I'll work at getting as much as I can. But the CIP needs some of that money so we can build something big.
Yep.
Indoor golf course.
So the motion has been stated. Correct?
Yes,
This motion is by Christie, right?
yes.
Second
And-
by,
I'll support. I'm not clear that the motion was finished.
You want me
Because
to, I can
We know that
restate it.
Ken's reporting back to the board.
Yeah, I'll restate it.
Okay,
Move to negotiate the sale of parcels 80-06-035-001-00 and 80-06-035-003-10 with adjacent landowners, and if unsuccessful, provide supervisor with authority to negotiate easements to these properties with a final decision made by the township board.
I'll support.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Christie,
Yes,
Collins,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
Beverly,
Yes.
and Ken is a yes. We are now going back into another public comment. Anyone out there?
no,
Okay, we have no public comment. Just a little capping of tonight's, we had some very good discussion. I know some of it got heated. We can't take any of this personal. Let's all go home, rest on it, and let's work real hard at solving the problems that we have before us. And
Agreed.
some of the things that we don't agree on, we need to come together and make something that works, that actually accomplishes the goal that we're trying to achieve. So I appreciate all the discussion. I think it's doing very well for us. And I think we still are a township board. We're still a team, and we need to work with each other very well. So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is
This
that Beverly?
Bev. Yep, all day.
I got one right. Second by
Rhonda.
Rhonda. Got a second. Motion is second. Roll call vote. Christie,
yes.
Yes.
Collins,
Why you call her Con?
Rhonda, Gary,
yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Ken, yes. I declare the meeting closed at 9:30 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Very good meeting. Very good.
Thank you.
You guys be safe driving home.
We will.
I know. You guys take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Christy, if you're still there, our YouTube, that link was an old link.
The one that I just sent you, that I emailed you? I
Did
just
you
I emailed you at 5:30.
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay. Here, let me finish stopping this stuff.
You had texted one and they were from
Yeah.
2019.
So the one I texted you was
Kinda
not, it was just
Seeing
supposed,
John.
yeah, it was just supposed to take you to the,
And I
um,
searched, I did YouTube, Columbia
Yeah, it's-
Township, Van Buren County, Michigan.
yeah, it's weird. I don't really understand why it's not finding it, but because I looked and they're on our channel. I did send you the link to that particular one. Normally, I would send somebody to our website.
But, and I tried from our website, and I,
Today, did you try today from our website? Because it's down.
no.
That's, I stated that
No.
in your email as well, that
Okay.
the video tool on our website is currently experiencing
The
problems.
live streaming, the Civic web thing told me
Yes.
that. It
Yes.
told me that.
Yeah,
It gave me a notification that that was a problem, but what I'm thinking is when I search in YouTube, if we have a YouTube channel, I don't understand why it's not coming up.
Yeah, it
Unless-
should. When I search, I can find it. Unless it's just because I'm the one that created it. I don't know if it prioritizes something
Are you
differently.
sure it's called Columbia Township?
Yes.
Not TW, is it TWP maybe?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll follow that link then.